Are the problems that we experience in life really worth it? Is all the suffering you go through enough to make up for the good you experience? When are problems too much to handle? At what point is it more likely to just not do anything at all versus trying to solve them? This is something I find myself thinking about almost all the time because I feel like I solve problems and then new ones come along and it's just even more painful the second time, right? But that's just kind of how life flows. That's the ebbs and flows of it. There's always going to be new problems. And the reason I'm sitting here talking about this today is because last night I was reflecting on a few things while I was journaling and just thinking to myself before I go to bed. This is a common occurrence. And I remembered a time in my life when I felt truly, truly hopeless. I felt truly, truly like there was no reason to keep going. And it was probably 2 years ago. It was when I was 24 years old. I had just barely graduated college. I was in this big life transition phase where I was working my first salary job. I was no longer surrounded by people in school. I was out of the system for the first time. And I was really just experiencing life. You know, I got the degree, I got the salary job. I was doing the things that I was supposed to be doing, but I still felt empty. I still felt like there was stuff missing. And I actually remember it very vividly. It was Halloween time, and I wanted to not feel so lonely. I had just barely begun the lonely chapter of my life where I was doing the things like going to the gym, eating healthy, building the business on the side, doing the things where you separate yourself from the people you're around, but you have to wait until you're good enough to be around other people, right? It's a period in time where you no longer fit in with the old group of friends, but you're not good enough to fit in with the new group of friends yet either. So it's very much just you toiling in labor and doing the reps it takes to get to the position you want to be in. And so I was waking up at 7 a.m. I was running every single morning. I was eating very healthy. I was pursuing my second YouTube channel. I was working. I was making money. I was paying off debt. I was thriving, if you will. But still, deep down inside, I still felt just empty. I felt like there was a hole missing. And the most important part of it, I did not see a silver lining. I did not see a way in which this could be remedied. And so it was Halloween, and I invited a bunch of my friends over because I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to feel connected to human beings again. And so I invited an old group of friends and my new group of friends, and I really wanted all of them to come together on this experience so we could all just enjoy each other's company and just, feel connected. But the old group of friends didn't exactly want to jive with the new group of friends, so it kind of got weird and cliquey to where one group was upstairs, one group was downstairs, and the entire time I just felt like I was trying to connect everybody instead of, just hanging out. And I felt the loneliest I had the entire time because I was finally accepting it and I was trying to connect people so I didn't feel so alone, but also so we could all collectively experience this Halloween experience, right? I was in this mood of like, okay, if I'm doing these things and I'm experiencing life this way and I still feel lonely even when I'm surrounded by people, what is the point? And it got so bad to where I went on a little walk and I kind of just fell down and broke down in the middle of the woods. And I think prayed to God to see if there was anything. What was I supposed to be doing? What was my path supposed to look like? Where was I supposed to go from this? And I did get an answer. If you've ever heard of angel numbers, I looked down at my phone and it was 111. And my roommate had actually just gone to bed and he sent me a reel that said, if we can't have girlfriends, maybe we're supposed to be together. And so that was, just a nice little funny thing to take the edge off and make me realize, okay, maybe life is worth living through connection with certain people, and so, yeah, after that point, it got a little bit better, but that was just the main experience, and over these past 2 years, I've of course gathered new friends, gathered new people, feel a lot more connected than I used to. But there was a point I'm like, all right, cool. When is this suffering going to pay off? And so now the next thing I have for you is you might be feeling similar things. You might be going through something that you don't know if you can handle. You might have just experienced a massive life change you don't know if you can handle. And you're just wondering if it's worth it. And it's really hard to see it when you're going through it, especially when the problems just feel so overwhelming. And they just feel like they're never going to end and you'll never get out of it. But there is a silver lining for you. There's a silver lining for you. There is for everybody. And optimism can win. Another thing that's helped me is 2 different authors. One of them is Albert Camus. The other is Viktor Frankl, if you've heard of him. Either of these people. So there's an old Greek myth about a guy named Sisyphus, right? Basically, I can't remember which god exactly, but he pisses off one of the gods, and he is doomed to eternally push a boulder up a hill forever, right? He is always meant to continue pushing this boulder up this mountain, and it never ends. And the author, Albert Camus, argues whether he's happy or not. If he's happy with the sentence of continually pushing a boulder up a hill forever, or if he's miserable. And it's like, all right, cool. At any point in time, he could choose to let the boulder stop, let it roll over him, and just let it be, or he could be happy with his sentence that is life now, pushing this boulder up a hill. And I like to think that he's happy, right? I like to think that Sisyphus has found meaning in the suffering, because that's the whole goal of this entire thing. There's another one, Viktor Frankl. He was in the Holocaust. He was in a German war camp, and his whole family died, his wife, his children. But he found meaning to make it to the very end and come out and write a book about his experience that would help other people. He named it Man's Search for Meaning. And so it's like in these very, very polar opposites, right? They're kind of the same thing, right? A life sentence of pushing a boulder up a hill or losing your entire family. It's like they both still found meaning in their suffering. And that is kind of the superhero ideal to look up to, right? Still finding meaning in the experience of suffering. And so it's like, okay, cool. With this in mind, like what is the actionable advice, right? And I've found that by finding passion and finding things I pursue and getting lost in creativity and funneling any pain I have into art, whether it's this, just talking about my experience, or making different kinds of videos, or painting, or writing, just journaling your thoughts, you can really just create beautiful things, whether it's poetry or songwriting, anything. Just funneling your emotions into something is something huge, which is nice because it gets you lost in the sauce and it kind of gives meaning to the suffering, right? But also just surrounding yourself with better people and just trying to make your life better. And I'm only 25, almost 26. I have no room to be talking on this. I'm just sharing my experiences because I felt called to last night, and this is what it was. And sometimes it doesn't help. Sometimes that makes the nihilism even stronger, is the idea that maybe we truly are just alone floating on this rock in the middle of nowhere, filming a video by ourselves in the woods, and we'll die in 70 years, right? That is a true thing. But it's also the other perspective of that will happen, but only one of your lives will ever be lived, you know. No one will ever be you again. No one will ever have your circumstances or your experiences or your talents again. You are a unique individual. So far to your DNA. No one will ever be you again. And the things you're going to do in this world will only be done once by you. And that in itself is special. Because no matter what impact you leave on the world, it's your impact. It's what you did. No one will ever replicate it. And that in itself should be special, because maybe we're not supposed to live forever. Maybe we're just supposed to cherish this one time we do live and enjoy and experience as much as possible, because it is only one time. After that, we'll all be back in the ground with the flowers, right? And so just live it while you can. Chase your passions. Do what makes you happy. Don't give up. Relentlessly chase optimism. And you'll be okay. We all will. Thank you for watching another video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.